Right, it's the next day. I've probably got about an hour's worth of sensibility, and the rest of it's going to be utter garb, as per usual. Right, handlebar fitting to the Meteor 350. My Meteor 350, actually. And I love this bike, apart from the handlebar situation. So I'm changing them to these beasties right there. Now, in order to separate myself from the crowd, I normally do silly things to my bike. Well, not so silly sometimes, but I do things a bit differently, a bit off the cuff. So I am going to be installing these bars, as you've seen before on the first episode. I'm also going to be installing these, which are bar end wires, cables, actually. American guys, cables, wires are what you make fences with. Controversy. Oh no, it's too early for that. Yeah, so they're bar end things, but they are side lights and they are indicators. So, or blinkers or flashers, however you want to pronounce it, wherever you are. Now, in order to get these in and working, you just put that in there and then you twist this piece and it the bolt thread, the nut threads down and it expands that rubber and pulls it in tightly. But I need to get said wires from both sides inside the chrome tube, the construction of wire, and then out my pre-drilled hole I did yesterday. I need to get that out of there and then down somehow into the headlight. But as you can see, these cables aren't very long. Ooh, excuse me. They come to about there. So I need, obviously you've got negative, yeah, and you've got positive, which is obviously that goes to the side lights, that makes the side light glow, and this yellow one is the switch line for the indicators. So I need, how many cores do I need? I need 5, don't I? So I need 4, don't I? So I need a live, neutral, or positive and negative, if you like. Left indicator, right indicator. That's all I need. There's ground is the earth, so I need 4 cores minimum. So I need some sort of 4-core flex. I've been upstairs and I've rummaged around in my computer boxes and I've come up with this. It's sort of like an SY cable, which basically means it's armoured or it has steel protection. SY cable. So I bared that back, and inside it has lots and lots of different cores, as you can see. And the most important part is, if I can single this one out, it's stranded. If it was a solid cable, like an alarm cable, not alarm cable, like a, I don't know, a Cat 5 or Cat 6 data cable, if it was solid cable, every time I turn the steering wheel, eventually the cable will break inside. It will just snap because of metal fatigue. So you must have stranded flex or stranded cores. And there I have it. So I've got a red and black, so that'll be the positive and negative, or live and neutral. And I actually got a yellow right there. So all I need to do now is some dodgy soldering with my dodgy soldering kit, like so, and then I need to sleeve each one with this very fine sleeving, or if that is too small, I have quite a lot of other soldering bits and pieces and different size sleevings. So there we go. I think everybody should have a decent kit like that. It's only bits and bobs thrown together, but over the years it makes a kit, doesn't it? Right. So, are you getting all? Have you got all that so far? Yeah. Right. Okay. If not, stop there, rewind. I wouldn't if I were you. Just stick with it. So, I can't just solder these cables onto here and then put my fish up there. Let me just demonstrate that. It won't take a second. I wish that washing machine would shut up. So here I have a fish, okay? It is basically an electrician's, because that's what I was. It is a fish. You poke that in there and hopefully it will come out the end, you see. And then you tie your cables on, or you twist your cables around there, bit of insulation tape, and you pull back like so, and you draw your cables down through there. Now that's simple enough. These are a few quid in Toolstation or places like that. It's a nylon draw line, if you want to know the name of it. Okay, so one end is rounded, so it goes around corners easily, and the other end is not. It's just got a hole in it to tie your cables on. Right, so there, that's that. I can't just do that and tie that on and pull that into there and then take the handlebars out and fit them, because I've got to thread on the indicator stalk. How fast do I start? I don't know. Grow up, E.T., for God's sakes. And then I have got to put the switchgear on, which clamps around, so that's not an issue. Then I've got to slide on the handlebar grip. And I can't do any of that with this on. So, how would you do that? Just pause there a minute and have a think. How did you get on with that? What I've come up with, and what I hope you guys have come up with, is you will need to strip this cable. I have about 1.5 meters. All right. I need, out of here going down to the headlight, about 2 foot to be on the safe side. Okay, just so I've got a bit to play with and tie her up around the other cables. So if I strip this cable back to about here, roughly, which means taking the outer core off, the plastic, the rubber, and that leaves me a good, I'd say about 600 mil or more. So when I poke this up the hole there, or later fish it when the handlebars are fitted, I can then put 3 strands this way and 3 strands that way and grommet that into the hole there, so that's all completely sealed. Yeah, and so the cables come out the end here, then I do the soldering, then I stuff it in and I turn it around and do it up and lock it. So that is the plan. Do you get that? It's the only way around it, isn't it? You can't put B on before A's in, sort of thing. Is that right? I don't know. Yeah, so that's it. I've got to do that. I've got to install the bars first. Got an idea. I've got a very good idea, actually. I've got some cable in the shed. It's just thin cable, like a single strand cable kind of thing, like 0.75. I don't know what gauge that is, because guys use gauges in America. I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to do was just put my draw line in out the end, tie 2 or 3 feet of cable, single strand from the shed on there, pull it through so it's hanging out, just tie a knot in at that end, tie a knot in at this end, and do the same that end. So I've got 2 draw lines in, and then when the bar's fitted, I can then tie on my cable. Yeah, that's right. Tie on my stripped length, 3 cables onto one and 3 cables onto the other one, and 3 will come out there and 3 will come out there. I think that'll work, won't it? I don't know. Of course it will. Anyway, it's a lot of faff, isn't it, for getting that done? But these things are really rather jiffy. I'm on a 9-volt battery just to take a look at them, and they are rather good. So yeah, I'm going to continue with that. Then the bars will be fitted. I do hope the sun's going to come out today, because it's rather depressing, isn't it, in grey constantly. Right, stop waffling easy. Get your draw lines in, get your butt outside, and crack on. Okay, right, will do. So I don't need any soldering kit just yet. It's for later. Oh, this cable is something else. This is data port, a display cable, display port cable, sorry. And there's the numbers if you want to pause it there and have a quick look. Look at my nicely manicured nails. I don't know. So there we go. Right, so that's that. This is great stuff. Obviously you got the black outer, and then you got the armor inside, which is basically, do you know those Chinese finger torture puzzles? So it's basically this stuff that you can open up like that, put your finger in or a pencil in or something, and then when you go like that to try and pull out, it locks. So you've got all that to strip off. Then you have a layer of screen. Well, layer of screen first. No, layer of screen underneath that armor. Then you have a piece of string, and then you're left basically with this setup. Let me put it on there. So you have 5 cores. Now these are red, black, blue, green, and brown. And you've got 4 of these little baby cores. It's a shame there wasn't 6 of these little baby cores, because I could have used 3 on each side. But as it happens, no, don't go there. As it happens, there's only 4, so I can use 2 for one side and 2 for the other side, and 1 of each of these will be an earth, effectively. Why don't you use all these, E.T.? Well, I suppose I could do, but these are the same gauge, or as the lights themselves. Hello, mister. See you. So I can do 2, 2, 2, and 1 of each will be the earth. So I can actually get rid of 3 of these. But before I chop them out, I'm gonna work out which colours I'm using. Now, when I strip these ends, this gets even more interesting. These ends consist of they're a pair. Each cable, each one of these is a pair. So you've got an earth or ground and a core. So like you say, there's the brown one. Come here, they're quite stiff and springy. That's another reason I didn't really want to use these as the main ones. There's the black one, green, red, brown, and finally bleu. Okay, so for earth I will use black and blue for the grounds, or the earths, negatives, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that's what I'll do. Right, just thought I'd show you that cable. That was an arse to strip. Basically, I went around the circumference with a Stanley knife or similar, just on the edge of the table there, and I had to literally stand. You Sparkies will know this. You stand on the cable, and then you pull up on this. But because it's such a length, and all these cables are twisted, they're coiled up, you have to sort of pull and twist as you go. But you use both hands. You use one at the bottom and 1 at the top, and that you all the way up like that. And eventually, it starts to untwist in your hand, and then you've got this big piece of hot rubber. So it wasn't easy stripping this cable, but I do highly recommend it because it's all I had. Right, job's a good one. I'm not going to pretend that was easy because it really wasn't. Anyway, I used my draw line effectively in the end, and I poked one end down there to here, and I tied the other end on with the... No. Oh, fuck it. Take 2. Here we are. Don't let me tell you that was easy, because it really wasn't. Basically, what did I do? I poked the blunt end of that draw line up there through that hole out to here. Then I tied on the end of the hole in it with a bit of tape. Just pulled it back through, so I had at the end here with the hole in it. So then I tied 3 cores on, being orange, yellow, and that one is green. So I thought to myself, green for earth. You'll get that, Sparkies, won't you? So that's that. So you've got green, red is going to be, orange is going to be the new red, and the yellow is going to be the switch line, which matches the yellow on there. Right, so that's good. I did this. I repeated the same thing this side. Poked that in, tied that on, pulled that back through, taped on the other three, pulled them back through, and here they are. So we've got red for live, obviously, and white for the switch line, and that I think is black for ground, which will go with the black on there. You see, so it kind of works, doesn't it? And I've pushed that in as I pulled both ends sort of out. Where are we? Where's my other fingers? I don't know. Pulled them out, so we've got three there, three there. I snipped off three just to make it easier because they're quite stiff and robust, them things. And I've put a piece of tape around it, so when I go to put this on the bike, this doesn't just pull straight out and I'll lose my 3 feeds. Golly gosh, yes. Right. I'm gonna have a oh, the sun's come out. Oh, that's good. The sun will come out. Tomato. Doesn't look very good though, does it? But apparently we're not supposed to get any rain. But I don't trust that 100%. So I'm going to get the cover off the bike and start jiggerying and a pokerying. But first of all, brew and say hi to Winston once again. Hello, young Winston. Are you okay, lad? Yeah? Goody goody. Right, just before we put the handlebars back on the bike, just one thing. I had these done up earlier and they only seem to go on one way round, if that makes sense. When they're clamped down, you see the gap that side here? And there, but if you turn it round, let's see, you can centralize it, if that makes any sense. You can get it to cover there and you get it to cover there. If you turn it around the other way, it's all over one side and not, you know, you can't correct it, so you have a gap like that, you see. So make sure you pair them up first before you put them on. Right, that's done, sealed and ready to go. I think what I need to do first, I don't need to do any of that. I could literally bolt them on, can't I? Or do I? Oh, no, I have to thread that in first. That's the first thing to do, and then the left hand switches clamp on. Right, let me put that in situ. Okay, that side's gone on well. This side, you see what I mean? That's not the same as that side, and there's a bit of a recess under that lip there, so that needs to be, well, I think that needs to go on that side. I think I've got them jumbled around at some point. Anyway, this is on and fixed in them holes, so that can't go anywhere. And that clutch lever is mated up nicely to, come on, to the curvature on the switchgear. So, and that is at a comfortable angle. That is a properly comfortable angle. So that's good. Because they're separate from this, you can actually tilt or, you know, push forward a little bit if you want them down further, or saving that, just undo the 4 clamps and push it up a bit. But there we go, that's right. This is locked in, or that locks in to the hole right there, so that's spot on. What I'm going to do now, before I put the throttle, this twist grip on now, I want to put a little bit of grease on here, and I have some just over there, which will just keep that nice and smooth. Excellent. We've got the wires out, the cables hanging out, so all good, isn't it? It's coming along. Right, I've greased my shaft, so that's good. And I took the opportunity with some graphite oil to shoot some down this cable before I reconnect it, before I join those 2 clam halves together. So there we go, that's on, that's locked into that screw hole. Well, that thingy I drilled, and I don't think that's a bad guess, do you guys? It's not bad, is it? Right, just need to put the hand grip back on there, no grease obviously, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right, give us a minute. Oh, let's have a quick look at the bars first. Now look at that. Let's put him straight on. That looks so cool. I know it's only a couple of inches, but it makes all the difference, girls, doesn't it?
Stop it. Right, yes, I think that looks absolutely the nuts. Yeah, that is up the cool factor by 3. That is brilliant. Right, let me finish off and then get these wired in. What I've done here basically is I put quite a large piece of sleeving on there, and then heat shrink, and then heated that so it shrunk in onto the threads, because that nut doesn't go, it only goes that way when you do it up, not that way. Then I put a smaller piece on, then a smaller piece on, and now I have 3 even smaller pieces for when I do the soldering connections. So there they are, and they will be taped up and pushed in there, because nothing twists here or there, it's just as it is. Right, oh, I don't know, oh, I'm dead excited about that. I'm just going to be like sitting back, just cruising, you know, not kind of in the sort of Honda C50 sort of stance, if you know what I mean. You know, I'm gonna be relaxed. It's gonna be cool. Right, okay, let's have a go. Okay, well that's all soldered and heat shrinked both sides. So hopefully now, when I strip this cable back a little bit just to test it on my 9-volt, we should have results, and then I can second fix that into there. Oh, isn't it exciting? Right, here I have stripped the ends, so I don't know which is the earth for which end, so let's go. So obviously that's negative, so it shows a little negative there. Will you focus on what I've got in my hand, phone? And we've got positive there, so the one of these earths, these two, go on there like so. Oh, this is really awkward with one hand. Oh, well, we got a light there. So what goes with that was the indicator. Okay, now the red one is the side light, and there we have the side light. Right, that's good. So now this earth here should be for this side, this one here. So let's get hold of that. Okay, and oh, this is really fucking getting on my jugs now. Mrs. Come and give Zanes. Okay, so that's the switch line, and that is the side light. Wicked. I'm chuffed. So now all I've got to do is just gently ease them back into the tube and turn it clockwise to lock it up tight. Loctite, shall we say. And I can put the wing mirror bracket back on with the clutch brake master cylinder on here, plug the 2 cables back in to there for the brake light switch, and yeah, Bob's your uncle. And I'll get that cable into the headlight. I don't think I'm going to do that today because I am just frozen. I'm really struggling with it today, but it's the way it is, isn't it? Right, let's crack on. Well, he's on. I'll just check the wiring again. I mean, test it with the battery. And there you have it. The Royal Enfield 350 Dragster. I am loving that rake. It just looks awesome. I haven't even sat on it yet. Nice a bit of grease on it. Yeah. What do you reckon, guys? Right, I am set up and my arms are not outstretched. That's outstretched. They are fully in the relaxed position naturally as you sit. Wow, I do need to adjust the mirrors a tad. Do I? Where would the road be? The road would be that grey pot, the middle grey pot. Yep. Oh dear, I'm looking at the sky there. Ah, right. That's actually better because that was on full lock almost. What would that be? That would be that post in the middle. Well, that is in the middle, that post. That's good. I am loving that. I just need to take that off and twist it around 180 degrees. Let's see if that works. That one seems to be okay. There's a slight little bit of a lip there, but when I got it, it was horrible. It was like it wasn't, you know, which just wasn't right. But here's that cable, so I need to tie wrap. Oh, I need to wrap these back on yet and put that switch back on, don't I? I'll do that in a sec before I forget. So I need to get those rubber straps that I showed in India. That paint will flake off. Anyway, here we go. I am loving this bike. That is so different. Where's the old handlebars? Just to... And you know what? Nah, I'm going to get the headlight surround off and get this cable in there. I'm not going to wire it up tonight, like I say. I just want this out of the way because it's dangling by my tootsies. Oh, I've got to do that foot peg as well, haven't I say. Right, I'll catch you in a little bit. Ooh, madam. Don't ask. This is the final part of the handlebars and side lights and indicators fix. Caroline just called me and said, hey, I've got to look at this. I looked at it, I went, what's that, a worm with his head cut off? She goes, no, it's a man's penis and his dog's just bitten his bell end off. Oh God, thanks, I really want to see that, darling. Not. Right, so what do I need then? I've got the bars on. I've been for a ride. I went out with young Brian and we went to that Salisbury and he's bought a Royal Enfield Meteor 350 in blue. Aye. So I thought, well, that'd be nice to have a little bit of a ride out. Those handlebars, or these handlebars I've put on, I'm riding along and I think, hey, my arms are just exactly in the right position for the most comfortable ride I've ever had. And that even surpasses the DeVille, which is a hard act to follow for comfort. So I am absolutely ecstatically over the moon about that. That is fantastic. I've got to tell you, I haven't got my glasses or my silly blonde hair on. Right, what do I need? I think I need a JOS screwdriver. I need one there and one the other side to free off the headlight to get to the cable that goes up through and up into the handlebars. And there's some solder connections in there, as you saw, going out to the lights, the indicators and side lights. Better get myself a screwdriver. Oh, and a brew. I haven't got a brew yet. That's a given. Right, we're in. So now I've got a feeling that these are like, yeah, they're like car trim clips, aren't they? One of those ones that you sort of push in and then just literally just press these in. I don't think they're actually, or are they? Oh, they are threaded properly. Right, okay. Hush my mouth. Crikey, he's actually doing something with a screwdriver. What on earth is going on? Take that out of there. I've disconnected the headlight, like I say. I think that should just wriggly tiggly tiggle. Oh my goodness. Okay. So push those two in. Push those two in like so. Push them back through. And then this piece comes out. It comes off in your hand, missus. So that leaves this bunch here. Well, all we need for the side lights is to tap in to this white, I guess, and the black being the ground. So we need to tap into that white, so when the ignition gets turned on and that side light comes on, the side lights on the handlebars should come on. And then we need to find the indicators, which I'm guessing looking at this cable hither, which goes down and around through to the indicator. So we've got a green one for the left. What's on the other side? There it is. There. And a red one, by the look of things. Yeah, red one for the right hand side. Okay, so we've got the two indicators. So I just need to tap into the white with green trace and the white with green trace for each different one. Oh, I'm zonked already. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Just about for a bike ride. Absolutely zonked. Right, first of all, I guess I need to strip this cable right back, because there is plenty of it, as you can see. If I take that back to about here, I can then dress that round in there, and then we can lose it up in the top here once it's stripped and all the strands are individualized. I think there's a power supply in here, isn't there? A spare one for something. Is that it? Don't know, it's difficult. Oh, hang on a minute, let's take that off of there. Oops. Rah. I need to unclip that one. Rah. Come on, in you come. Yeah, we've got a power supply there, I think. And I've got a feeling that would have been for the what do you call it? The GPS-y thing. So that's that. What else we got in here? Or is that it? So we've got two spare plugs, guys. Can you let me know what? I'll just put my tester across there, see what's live, what isn't, what becomes live, what what doesn't. Can you let me know, if you do know, what these are, these two plugs? So we've got one down there, okay, and we've got one up here. What are they for? 1, 2. Answers on a postcard. Okay, right, now I've established what I think is what's what. I can start stripping that, belling the ends through, making sure, get my 9-volt battery, which does what, label them up and do some sort of connection in there. I'm trying to do this without cutting the original RE wiring link, because nobody wants to really do that, do they? So in the future, what am I doing in the future? Well, obviously I'm doing getting that stupid tail tidy off the back, putting that back to original. I've got to put that, take the other wide foot peg off and put the original one back on. And I have purchased a tachometer, a rev counter. So I am going to be, hopefully, sorry about the wind noise if there is any, putting it in here. Just because I really wanted to centralise this, just get it, like an old motorbikey styley thing, but without taking all these gubbins off and having a really good look at it. What I might do on a sunny day, I bought this meter rev counter to go there, and I can see if I can wire it in. It's not it's electronic, it's electronical, not mechanical. So there we are. Just runs off of a pulse signal. I think you get live and neutral to it, and then you've got a signal cable to it. Right, let me crack on. I've just been looking at this wonderful Royal Enfield embossed halogen headlight unit, for want of a better word. Yeah, it's very pretty, isn't it? Very nice. Not quite sure what these two little bits up there for. Can you see those in there? Don't know. Perhaps a couple of little LED cat's eyes. Don't know. But I recently made a purchase, just completely off the bat. I was at this market and I saw these two headlights. They're kite stamped, and they're for a Land Rover. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Nice big, it's all metal construction, heat sink. Obviously I've got a pair of them. Can't beat a pair, lads, can you? Right, so I'm just going to plug that in and just see how bright it is. So I'll plug the originals in first, and then we'll see what sort of pattern we get. I know it's a bit Heath Robinson, but just bear with. Right, that's those on there. Let's fire the bike up. Okay, so there we have it. That's the Royal Enfield headlight on dip beam. Need another pair of hands, don't I, desperately? Let's put it on high beam. Okay, so we've got more of a... So let's say that is... The top part of the beam is 2 bricks long, and the centre part, the main part, is 1 brick long. You see that? So we've got like a T effect. Okay, so we've got that, and that one. Okay, so let's just put that back on the dip beam and shut that off for a second whilst I change over to the other one. Right, I've plugged it in. I'm kind of just going to hold it in there whilst we turn it on. It's not going to work, is it? Let's put that down there. Be very gentle with it. Right, key on. Engine on. Holy shit. Oh my god. Ah! My eyes! My freaking eyes! So what we got here? Let's get that into about where the... Anyways, well that's quite a big spread, isn't it? That. Let's flick it onto high beam. Yeah, I think we can safely say that is a lot more bigger, isn't it? That is proper. Oh, let's turn that off. My poor eyes. Who said that? Who said that? Me not see. God, that is bright, isn't it? I'm going to have to now do another video which headlight to use. Oh, it's all exciting, isn't it? So we've got this thing to go on, rev counter, and there's a hole already underneath the top yoke, threaded, ready for the little bracket. Who knew? So, modifications are plenty. We've got a straight through pipe down here to get rid of that nasty lumpy part between the downpipe and the muffler. This is a nice straight one, so that should be good. That should work well with the DNA air filter. E.T., stop getting sidetracked. Just do one thing, do it well. Crack on, lad. It's done. The deed is done. I've managed to wire in those 5 connections. So 2 negatives together from the left and the right hand into an earth connection I found in the headlight. The 2 cables for each side light together in with the side light feed, and the 2 indicator feeds into each respective indicator. Yeah, it works. It's not pretty. What I wish I had done is used alarm cable. I think there's either 3 pair or 4 pair alarm cable, because it's stranded cable. This stuff was such a mare to strip. It's I've been whittling the insulation off of 4 of the cores with a scalpel, basically, just to get the sheathing off the outside. My goodness, never again. But it's not pretty, but it's there. Okay, right. Yeah, I've used some Wagos, and I need to just push that back in gently. Put the retaining cover back in there. Pop the headlight back in, and Bob's your uncle. Show you. Do you want to see it working? Want to see it? See it going? Right. So here we are. Let's put ignition on. We have lightage at each side. Let me just turn that off, and you can see the lights going off. and on. Okay, and if we go left, we have indicatorage going on. It's quite tricky to see the amber in this dark light. Dark light, you muppet. Let's do right. So we've got the right hand flashing there, as well as the amber on the front, and obviously the upside down lights on the back. So if we zero that and put on the hazards, okay, we've got those two flashing. We've got both the handlebars ends flashing. I don't know how visible that is. It should be good, better at night. And we've got obviously the two at the front there flashing. So I'm happy. I think that looks quite jiffy actually, especially on the custom cruiser bars, which I can't stress enough how comfortable it just completes the package for me personally, at my height and weight and all the rest of it, and things. It just completes it 100%. And I'm so pleased with that. I can't get any better than that. Let's put the hazards off and the lights off. Oh, right, like I say, other things to do. We've got the exhaust straight through pipe to put on. We've got the tail tidy to remove and discard in bin. The rack itself, I am giving that back to young Brian because it was a gift from his wife to him for his birthday. And he sold the bike to me, and then he gave me all the bits and pieces, as you saw. And Brian and myself went out for a bike ride today, and he's bought himself another bike. And guess what it is? It's one of these, but it's brand spanking new. This was this is done 5,500. This is a brand spanker. So I said to him, "Would you like your frame, your rack back?" And he said that would be most kind of you, Adi. So I'm paying it forward back to Brian, as with the wide pegs, I think. Don't know. So we've got that to do. We've got the LED headlight upgrade. Who knows? I've got that to put in just to see. The only downside I have, the only problems I can see with that is on the back of the LED head unit. It's all metal cast alloy, and it's a heat sink. Bless you. Put my teeth back in. It's a heat sink, therefore it gets rid of the heat generated by the LED drivers to the atmosphere. Enclosing that in a cowl, okay, there are vent holes in the bottom and all that. It will just be a job of suck it and see. I think this guard holds the cables back in quite tightly, and you have lots of space there. And the LED version is nowhere as deep as this one. From the headlight ring back, you've got 3 inches of depth there. The other one's only 1 inch, so you've got 2 inches spare of air to should dissipate that heat quite nicely, I would think. What else we doing? We got the rev counter. That's to install. What I might do is wire it up off the bike into the parts that it needs to connect into, just to see if it works before I start taking all that guff off. That's pretty much. Of course, it's not pretty much it. I've got loads of things to do to it. I've got so many things to do to it, I've forgotten. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, liking and subscribing. If you can subscribe, please. I think I've got about 8% of people subscribed to my channel, and I've got like 3,500 subscribers. Please just hit the button. Just stop now, pause, subscribe. Don't cost you anything. It doesn't hurt, I promise you, it doesn't hurt. If you could do that for me, that would be brilliant. And I'll see you next time when we do some more bike stuff. Okay, take care and be good to each other. Hurrah!